Where's the mouse? Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. Okay, keyboard there. Hi guys. No, I'm not ready. Mike came home earlier than expected. So I'm not quite set up. I'm scrambling. I also stayed up way too late. Why, oh why? That says it's charging, but why will my... There we go. Let's see, can we turn this down a little? Because we've at least got some sunlight today. And unfortunately, I see Lisa couldn't stay with us. More's the pity. But that's okay because Lisa from Flippin' Crazy is hoping to get 55 birthday cards before the end of the month for her 55th birthday. And I posted a little thing on my, I think it went out on the community tab for my channel. It should have her, at least I think I posted it. I went looking for it, couldn't find it. But it should have the address to send birthday cards. So let's help her get to her 55 cards. Now I've already locked the kittens out. I just fed them. Like I said, way late start to the day. I massively overslept and then decided to finish watching Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, the extended version, because I knew I only had like 30 minutes left. It took me over an hour because my brother kept coming in and interrupting me. So, okay, they have the zoomies and they're going from this door to the bathroom above me because somebody just jumped into the tub and then jumped out of the tub. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not, we're going to talk as I get set up. Hi, Linda. How are you? I said I'd be on at some point this afternoon or early evening. They were not supposed to be back until like 5:30 or 5. So I figured, wow, this box has got little teeth marks all over it from when these little buggers were teething. Probably Arwen. She gnawed on everything. We're going to sit that up there. Actually, you know what we're going to do with this? Give me this little stuff from the last time. The little book. My dad's. We found my father's high school diploma last time. We're going to put that in the little box with the little stuff. And the 2 things of Post-it notes. It's usable for me. Oh, some of my mail is out here. That's the bill for the sewer line. Don't want to lose that. The magazine that came in the mail. A friend gave me a free subscription. HGTV magazine. It has some interesting ideas, though I'd rather get like something like Restoration Home, not this overstuffed house, this old house. That would be more helpful in a way. The one gives you all these great ideas for decorating and stuff for a modern house. The other 2 help you when you're dealing with a house that's built prior to like 1980. So let's clear the way and get in here if I can. There's a one lone hiking boot in here. I don't know if it's mine or Michael's. I don't know. That looks like a big foot. I think that's Michael. I had to move everything that the tripod was sitting on last time because the hole in the ceiling from the bathroom leak was right underneath. So I had to move all that, and I haven't had a chance to move it back out of the way. So we're going to work around. Because, you know, when you have a stuffed house, that's sometimes what you do. Right, this is the bag of laundry. We're going to put that bag closest to the door. If you don't mind, I'm going to actually eat breakfast. I don't have hardly any of these left. Do you notice how short these are now? I mean, what is that, 4 inches? So much for it being, these are by Millville Granola Bar. Maybe it's just because it's that company, I don't know, but I have to be very careful how I'm moving this pile of boxes with my foot because I don't want to pop my hip back out because I honestly don't even know what the very bottom box is. There's a big pile of very heavy books and then a pile of mass market paperback early science fiction books that need to go on eBay that have not happened yet. Oh, and that's the birthday card from my aunt. And these little animal flashcards are going to be package toppers. Now, we still have the books for keeping. And I can see the kittens have been in here because, see that pile in the corner? This was all piled up there. It's not piled up there anymore, which means kittens climbed. How did they manage to turn it? Because it was that way. And yeah, that little bit of Christmas will be in Thursday night's live sale. There's 2 vintage packages of, I think, 70s or 80s tinsel. I hate tinsel. I'm never, ever going to have that in my tree. And then there's a Christmas tin, a Christmas box, and this is cool. I haven't seen one of these in years, and this one is in great shape. But I remember these from like the 70s and the 80s, and they're plastic. But they're like kind of thin plastic. But they're plastic, and they're molded. You can see the dimension on that. And these didn't come out very long. I would love to know a time frame. I remember them from the 70s, and they were kind of like the answer to tin for a while. But you don't really see them anymore at all. And this one is in pristine shape. So that's going to be in, I mean, you could even just put it out like that as a decoration. So that will be in Thursday night's live sale. But I see some more in the chat. Yes, Philly Flipper. If you don't know Philly Flipper's channel, by all means, go find him. And actually, Philly, you got several. Look, I blocked myself from my phone. Hang on. Oh, this is dangerous. I'm not supposed to bend and push. That's how I screw up my spine. We're not doing that. Okay. Now, Billy, let's see if I can do it on here. No, I have to do it on the laptop. We're going to make Paul a moderator so Paul can drop his channel. Don't die on me now, you wee little bugger. Not like I got an extra battery out here. This mouse is dying. Maybe it's just dirty. Yes, I did just wipe my finger and try to. All right. Oh man, I wanted Paul to put his channel in. There we go. Now it's working. Battery must be dying on the mouse because it's a remote mouse. It's a remote keyboard. That laptop's so old it's missing 2 letters, 2 keys, and it's the kind you can like flip and lay the keyboard down this way and have it up. It's a hand-me-down from like. Okay, here's the question. Is it a hand-me-down when it's from your own child, or is that a hand-me-up? Nobody's ever answered that for me. Let's get it onto the right channel, because right now my account is in my personal YouTube. Let's find it. My channel, my live. Let me make sure my settings are so that my sound is, yeah, good. My sound is down or we get feedback. Now, where's Paul? Hard to do this and see that far because my glasses are crap. Well, that's odd. Why will it not let me make you a mod? I'm clicking the three little buttons. I'm not putting you in timeout. Huh. I'm in my own channel. Why will it not let me make you a moderator to drop your link? Sorry, Paul. Well, they'll have to search you by the name, Philly Flipper. Philly Flipper is awesome. Philly Flipper is the gentleman who had warehouse space and let me store all the boxes and stuff from the challenge room, the black hole challenge room. And then I got hurt that was end of April, beginning of May of 2021, that I fell in my own yard over a stupid spike that's still out there, a piece of rebar. We tried pounding it in and the tree roots are pushing it back up. The only thing for it, I think, is going to be to dig that monster out. But I tripped and landed in such a weird way, because I'm not Tinkerbell, that my hips were going this way, but the rest of me went this way, and I landed on the hip. Dislocated the hip, pinched 2 nerves in the spine. It took 6 months to be able to walk without it took 4 months to walk without a walker. It took another 2 months to not have to use the cane every single time. And then it took another 4 months to finally be cane free. So basically, it's taken a long time to recover. And through all this, bless his heart, Paul has never said boo about the fact that he had this, what do we measure it? 7 foot by 6 foot size, and Lord knows how tall, pile of boxes at his place. But Paul, his life is changing. He's moving beginning of the year. So, and it's time. Mike and I have been talking about it, but we hadn't yet had a space to start bringing stuff back. Now I have a little bit of space. As you just saw with over here, there's still stuff to work on top of this buffet. This buffet is cut short because my parents cut the legs off a little bit so the kids could all reach it, because this is where our toys were stored. This room was called the playroom. And you've all heard me refer to the playroom. Well, this is it. It's 9 feet by 8 feet, 10 inches. And it has a little powder room off to the side. There's a porch door right there. But this was where Mom's sewing machine is where I'm standing now. That sewing machine was here my entire life. Well, her entire life with me anyway. And then all around were things that held all the games. There was a Disney toy box, which if you're eagle-eyed, you saw that hiding in the attic now, because I've never found comps for it to sell it. And we had that, and there's a 1930s, early 40s. I think it's 1940s, early 50s TV cabinet, which is what I have the laptop sitting on. And Paul gave me a great idea to send that to an auction house that's nearby. Yeah, he's not the worst guy ever. He's awesome. I will survive being gray. Yeah. That's our boy. But if you don't, hi Marilyn, if you don't know Paul's channel, by all means, go check him out. His is a fun journey to watch too. Now he's mostly an eBay reseller, but he also does Whatnot now. I haven't gone over to that. I'm still trying to figure out stuff on my own channel. So I do have memberships now, 2 levels. And I'm still tweaking that because I'm still learning. I also, of course, still have the super chat, the super stickers, and there's something called a super thanks, which is active now. I don't even know what it is. I just went, okay, because all the money from all of those things go directly to feeding the 5 kittens while I still have, feeding 3 of the 5 kittens while I still have it, because Michael pays for the food for 2 of them. The 2 we're keeping, Michael is paying for them. But then everything else goes to that roof. Everything goes for the roof. 2 grants found so far, not eligible for either one of them, but I'm still looking. If any of you know of think of anything, somebody suggested checking with Habitat for Humanity, so that's on my list to check with them this week and see about getting a new roof before winter, because having water leak all the way down to the first floor is insane. That's why that door doesn't shut properly now. It wedges on the floor because the floorboards are warping. But hey, I still have a roof over my head. I have no mortgage. Mind you, without a job, I can't get a mortgage. I don't want one, though. With the way my health has been this last 2 years, I'd have lost the house if I had a mortgage to deal with. So, all that personal information aside, let's have some fun. We've got 2 hours, because I know Antiques from Karen starts at 3, but I also know that Mike will probably conk out, be asleep for 2 hours, and then get up and be starving. So I had already thrown food into the crock pot. So let's get to it and let's see. I have a box behind me. And let's get this out of here. What's this one? No, this is just an extra bag. We may need that later. These are the books, the cookbooks that we decided we're going to go to the live sale. We're going to put them in the box of little stuff because that has to be gone through and sorted all out. I'll take another bite of this real quick. Yes, I know this wasn't here last time. This is the remains of a bigger box of just odd bits that was over there. And I threw out most of it. Where am I going to put it? Whoa. Okay. You have to move. Wow. Teeny, teeny, tiny wrench. This is some kind of camera. It looks like 3 different cameras. We're going to set them aside. They're all movie cameras. Take my last bite of this and all right. Oh, I missed one. The Kahlua cookbook. That's going into the sale. Get these in here. I don't think they're all going to fit in here. Come on, Byron. Get your 100-some-year-old, 200-year-old self in there. It's funny how, like, a lot of ones I'm keeping are the oldest ones. But I haven't read them yet. Oh, nope. That paperback will fit in there. My son always says is my downfall. He says, you want to keep every book that's prior to 1940 that comes near you. Not quite, but close. I can't completely argue that. I have to admit, I cannot completely argue with him about that. That is very close. Okay, there's a tiny bit of room there. So, what do you want first? We know this one's fabric. We know this one's books. And sorry, I did not get the allergy medicine taken. Why is what looking like this? Get off of there. So, oh, how am I? My weekend's been good. I didn't get near as much packing done as I wanted. We did have a sick cat. I got very worried about Gimli. Gimli discovered another piece of foam somewhere. It's weird too. It's not like styrofoam. It's modern packing foam is more shiny and squishy, not as brittle. And he found a piece of it in Mike's room, and I didn't know it, and he was gnawing on it. So he was throwing up a bunch yesterday. So I was very worried about him. So I did not get as much done because they all become such little babies when they don't feel good. Then, I mean, if I walked out of the room, he'd follow me and try to climb my leg. Now, he's the biggest of them. Him trying to climb my leg is like him trying to climb a tree. He digs in with those claws. So, other than that, weekend's been good. You know, I'm trying to read. Okay, so I'm looking careful because I can't see. I'm too far away to really see the chat well. These glasses are too old. Okay, so, and I have to watch because sometimes I've noticed with StreamYard, it doesn't seem to be in live chat like the laptop is. It'll be in top chat, but it looks like everything's in live chat now, which is great. And 18 watching. Hi, all 18 of you. Why is this looking like this? Is there not enough light back here? You know what? I don't think there is. No. Because last time I had to white out pretty much for you to see the stuff. No, I can't see. Yeah, there's no light behind me. There is a window there, but it's very overcast here today. We've already had drizzling for about an hour, and then it stops, but all the clouds are still here. And if I turn this light on, you're going to have a big ball of light, like right behind my head, whitening everything out. So let's try that. Hopefully that would be better. And hi, Sherry. Let's turn you a little more this way. I have for years been keeping a box in the hall closet prior to the leak. Because then as I read a book, if it was one that I knew I wasn't going to read again, it went into that, and then it would go either to the Arden Fair for the big book sale, which I used to run that book sale for 17 years at the Arden Fair. They have a massive book booth that takes over the entire inside of Guildhall. And I either went there, or if we were past that point, then it would go to one of the local libraries for a library sale. Because and I used to read like 100 books a year. And then I got Michael. So then I read maybe 80 to 50 books a year. Last year I managed to get 80 books read, but this year I've only got, I think, 46. And some of them, I try not to buy new books. I go to the library, which is why my Goodreads list is huge. But, all right. You didn't say if you wanted fabric or books, so let's do the fabric one first, because I want to see what's here. And this box needs to be out of the way. All right, so we knew about this one because we took a peek last time that this was from the Stiltwalkers pants. Mom kept every scrap. So you have this great rainbow, and then you have the heavy-duty muslin that she would have lined the pants with. And then it would have had double lining wherever not where the knees were on a stilt walker, but where the pieces were that are strapped to your feet, because that's a metal base, and it would rub and it would wear the material out. But yeah, there was a guy that was a professional stilt walker. She also did a massive Uncle Sam outfit for him once. So we know we've got that. That'll end up being in a quilting thing. This is a nice bit of dusty, but nice bit of muslin yardage. So where's the bag? Okay, that's the bag for keep. Muslin, I could always use. Now this. So, let's see. Looks to be maybe a yard. Where's your selvage edge? This is a gray knit for one of the shows that Gilbert and Sullivan groups did, a Gilbert and Sullivan Christmas Carol. Okay, so there's the selvage down there. So this stuff is really wide, but it is a lightweight gray knit piece. It'd be good if you're making elephant stuffed toys. It'd be the right color. But this isn't big enough. Those capes went from our shoulders to the floor. She had to measure everybody in the cast to make sure that they were the right length. And there's, I think, 28 of them. And I believe they're in a box in the attic. So we know this is going. Where's our box of going fabric? That was supposed to be in there. All right, you know what? Our box of going fabric is underneath the box of going books. We're going to make a pile over there of going fabric. This is some kind of heavyweight dark green, like ladies' trousers fabric. That's going to go. Oh, look at the pattern on that. This is lightweight upholstery fabric. I think this was left over for somebody's chairs or a curtain. Oh, look. Piece just fell out of it. What piece? I was going to say, tell me she does not have a vest pattern in here, but no, it's just the scraps. Curved edge. So, yeah, I'm guessing that was probably somebody's chair. She wouldn't reupholster them herself, but she would make new covers. And then they could take them and get them reupholstered and have the piece already made. Or she would just make, a lot of times people had her recover pillows because it was cheaper to have her redo the pillow in like a Queen Anne chair than it was to have the people who were doing the rest of the chair do the pillow. That never made any sense to me to go two places, but that kind of thing kept her in business. Oh. Little bag of appliques. Baker's dozen appliques, 13 pieces. I'll have to see if there's any teeny tiny ones that I use for the fairy houses. Oh, there's some trim. We're going to find lots of trim eventually. Oh, what's this one? Oh, this one broke. The thing broke off. So we're just going to chuck that part. Okay, we're going to have to see about a trim sale too at some point. Look at how retro that kind of looks. Wow. I don't know. And here's the thing is like, I won't know if like this is a reproduction or if this is an original. You know, the Troy here in New York in the home of Uncle Sam. Huh. Hey, Harry, how are you? I'm hanging in there. I'm basically flea market in my own house. Because that's, you know, a ton of stuff hiding here. Okay. I'm going to put the appliques there. Oh, this is, it's supposed to look like crepe de chine. But this is upholstery fabric with that satiny finish to it. It's really pretty. But I can't see me doing anything with that one. So that one's going to go. This is a different gray. Honestly, that seems small. I think I will have to make up like scrap bags for crazy quilters because look, there's stuff like this. You know, this is linen. This is linen. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Definitely going to have to make up crazy quilt bags that are, because I know when we get to the dining room, the center drawer, the deep center drawer in the center of the buffet is nothing but fabric scraps. And it's mostly all cottons. And that has been fabric scraps since before I was born. So who knows what goodies might be hiding in there. Okay. This is a stretch knit. I think that pattern's houndstooth. Or it has a name. I know that. Might be houndstooth. Get rid of that one. Oh, wow. These were for my purses when I made purses. Giant snaps. Appliques that have little mirrors in them. I don't have any of those purses left for you guys to be able to see them. I used to make them and take them to the art and fair and the different craft shows. Well, thank you. I'm trying to read your name because I don't want to butcher pronouncing it. Is that an O? Morrigan. Morrigan. That's gain, right? So yes, I did finally. Oh, the chat, it just jumped. Somebody said something about fabric. Find the floor. Oh yes, Jan, I am determined. And like this is the first batch of stuff that came back from Paul's. And in order to get it all back here, it all has to go. Hey, look, more. This is more of that linen. Well, why don't we put all this together? All little scraps. That'll be going. Oh, this is not going. And this is old too. This is actually a piece of velvet, but look at the pattern. Isn't that wild? Oh wait, is this the? Is this the actual? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so at one point she had like Flintstone inspired outfits that she made for Halloween. I guess this was supposed to be one of my brothers because it's only got the one sleeve. And but it's got both pieces there. Wow, that's gonna make an awesome stuffed toy. Little scraps of it because it is a cotton velvet. It used to be so easy to get those kind of fabrics. Now, not so much. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, you can go up to Fabrics Row, but up in the city. But when I was growing up, there were so many fabric places. There were discount fabric places. There was, of course, Joanne Fabrics. This is like that light Halloween green and navy blue. Seems like it's a polyester. Good for witchy kind of outfits, but that'll go. Oh my. Found a stash of stuff from the mill. So my dad's sister, my Aunt Mary, used to work upstate PA at one of the mills, the clothing mills up there. Yeah, there's scraps of Joanne Fabrics years ago used to do remnants of trims, and unfortunately someone early on who helped me clean stuff out of here opened up a massive bag of the short little pieces that you used to get for a penny an inch and decided for me that instead of asking me that they were trash and took them home and threw them away. it was all the scraps I used for the purses of, you know, little tapestry trims where I might only have 6 inches, but that's enough for a little tiny purse. And you can't, I mean, to buy 6 inches now, that stuff now is like $18 a yard. And I was getting it for a penny an inch back in the 90s. So it was a lot of resources that actually were used to make me money, even when Michael was little, that I was kind of frustrated with, because like when you are helping somebody else clear out, be very aware of the fact that it's not your decision to make, no matter how much you want to. Have the respect of the person, that if you don't know what is theirs or what is the deceased person's because they live together, ask. Yes, it's slower. Yes, you're going to be frustrated by it. But wouldn't you be frustrated if somebody came into your house and started deciding for you? That's not okay. So go in knowing you're going to need to have some patience, and you're going to have to be willing to ask questions about stuff. Who bounced off the door? So anytime I find trim that I can use for that again, because my Etsy store needs me to sew. I'm woefully empty. But about that stuff, all of this is scrap. It'll all be the same size. It's all scrap pieces. Look like they were the backs, because they do have a shoulder kind of cut out, a neckline kind of cut out. They're all in pairs. You can really see it with this one. So at the clothing mills that were in upstate PA, when they were done making a run of whatever it was they were making, when they hit their quantity they needed to make, they would just take everything for it and just throw it away. So my aunt would bring a lot of it to my mother. And it made clothes for the boys, and I guess some for me when I was real little. I remember some of it coming down here when before I was age 10. So yeah, this is gonna go. We're definitely gonna, I gotta start a second pile. That's gonna go. Here's more of these little fancy appliques. These are fancy satins that I would use. What is this? I think this might be the quilt back I've been looking for. So at one point we took some muslin, and Mom and I made 2 quilt backs. And there's a seam right here. I think we just found them. I could never finish the quilts because I could never find out where she put the back. Well, apparently I didn't recognize it for what it was when we did the Black Hole Challenge room. I think we just found the backs. More little fancy applique things that I would put on the purses. I'm trying to read the chat, but I can't see the laptop from here. My glasses aren't good enough. So I only get to see like this little section. Yeah, you guys will have to talk to each other. Yeah, I know, guys. It's hard when you're by yourself because you can't catch everything. I love how Jan did it and had somebody read the chat to her. I honestly need to set that up with somebody, and then we do this on a regular basis. I'm trying to get a hold of all these and I can't. So you know how you have patterns that are a craft pattern and the whole thing is there? Like this little puppet. This is B. Brown, RN. This is the nurse. Now I know, and then there's the doctor. These would have gone with a book called A Visit to the Doctor, but she didn't make all of them. And so, but she kept everything. Now, if she had even made all of the puppets, she would have kept that strip. This, I don't know what book it's from, with all the little letters. She kept it. She kept it all. And for somebody, now, this matches it, but it doesn't have the blue stripe. So for somebody that likes to do quilting, this is the perfect kind of thing. I could make a scrap bag out of outfits like this. It would be perfect. It would be perfect for that. And I mean, I guess I know when I sold one of these books and it had the nurse, mom made it as a stuffed doll. But I guess you could make them as puppets, but you'd have to line them because they'd be very thin. They'd be very thin fabric. Yeah, they're meant to be hand puppets. They are meant to be hand puppets. So why don't we take the hand puppets and we're going to put them with the books that are going to be in the next live sale on Thursday, and we'll tuck that in there. Now, let's see. Yeah, I don't always get to see Steph's stuff. You're on almost every night. Dear, when do you sleep? But I keep, if I watched everything, I would never get any work done. Maybe this is what the alphabet strip came from. My book of ABCs. Like I said, this has the instructions, but because it has pictures, she kept it. And they're always, 100% cotton. I'm going to stick that with the little one. Oh, more letters. This is more from the doctor one. We'll stick that with it. Okay, so when you get these panels, these craft pre-printed panels, they often have some kind of strip separating the panels so that when you're cutting them in the fabric stores, you know where to cut. And usually it's a straight line, but about half the time, there used to be some kind of image. I kid you not, she kept that too. It's just a bunch of little bugs. It's a bunch of little ants. Yeah. Yeah. She kept that too. That's going in that. Yeah, I mean, they were cute, but she didn't quilt. I was just learning how to quilt. So it's like, what? And I would take some of them, like that ant strip, if I had fabric that had a picnic scene on it. Falling over. I could have made a really cute, like little, I'll have that be a band around the fold over part. Would have been cute. Oh yeah. There are probably a lot of those pre-printed pillow panels in this house where it was just the squares, the great big like 16 by 16 squares. I know there were dinosaurs because I sold the last of the dinosaur pillowcases out of my Etsy shop a while ago. But I wouldn't be surprised if I find more. Because she would buy them in bulk. Now that's a homespun cotton. That should go over here. I know what to do with that. All right, so we have an empty box. We have an empty box and we have a big pile of stuff leaving. So let's take the leaving stuff and put it back in there, except for those little scraps. And all these little trim applique, I know, is definitely staying. And I know those quilt backs are stay. Here's a big one. The butterflies on it. Are they butterflies? I'm not sure. You know what? I think I'll pop that into the live sale. I mean, it's only one. I know it's not a lot, but I do know that these lace appliques are not inexpensive and they are not so easy to find. Absolutely not so easy to find. And we're gonna, come on, where are the other appliques? Keep that one trim. This other trim will go up there. You know, this is stuff. And yes, I actually have a spot for any fabric I'm keeping. But so far, we've gotten rid of way more than what I'm keeping. All right. Let's check. I thought we were going to check another box of fabric. No, we're not. It's another box of books. Oh my. Actually, I don't think I want to tackle that one yet. I want to tackle this other one. So let's that there, because this one is so big and so heavy and the cardboard's splitting. Because this is split down to here. And I think it would be better, especially as the tape is so old. So I think it'd be better to like empty that one and see what we got. Oh, you love watching behind the scenes lives? Yeah. I haven't done them that often, but they need to happen more often. They need to happen definitely more often. Oh, what do we got here? Among women. I have a feeling I specifically ordered this from somewhere. Looking through women in history, literature. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. How about it in the 90s? So don't do this to your books unless you're loaning them to somebody. I used to write my name. That date is the date I bought it, not the date I read it, the date I bought it. August 24th, 1991. Yeah, don't do that. The Destroying Angel by Bernard King. But this is the first book. It's the first of a trilogy. I need to find the other two because I don't know if they really are worth anything, but I know I have all three of the US first editions. So we'll hang on to that. What do we got? Oh, gonna have to see how much this one's worth. So this doesn't look like much on the outside. It probably had an original dust jacket. The copyright of this is 1947. Nice. Miracle on 34th Street. And as it's getting that time of year, I don't want to just stuff this into the box that's leaving right away. I want to look it up right away and decide where it's going. Because sometimes, guys, I have to go where the money is, and for some things, it has to go to eBay. Most of the time, though, you guys get it first. Unless it's something not vintage. Like my eBay store, I just put everything 25% off right now because most of that stuff's been up for a while, except for the postcards and a little African-American doll's head bottle stopper. Her eyes are really cool. They open and close. And what else? There was a bulk lot of never used sheer pantyhose. It was in a clean out I did for somebody. And so I just put them up, but I went, you know what? I'm going to set it for a week and I'm just going to do the whole entire store. There's only 32 items right now. Do the entire store, 25% off. See what goes. And then I might take all the toys down because they're only the little PVC. They call them cake toppers now, but they're the little PVC vinyl toys. And I've sold most of what I had. And what I have left is either things that are like a one-off from like, I have one from Rescue Rangers. I have one, I think, from DuckTales. But I have some that are Looney Tunes, and I can do them as a lot them up together, and sell the ones that I have left. I have one or two sets. I know I have one Sesame Street one up, but I know as we get through the toys, I'll probably find more. They could do them as bulk lots and clear them out. I don't have any water today. I opened up the refrigerator and all the water bottles are gone. I suspect they went backpacking with someone, but they're not in the fridge. And if I open that door, I already heard a meow. Somebody's coming in. So I'm not really ready to do that. I don't want to let the little monsters in. Okay. Well, we got, The White Company, Arthur Conan Doyle. Who did your artwork? We talked about this last time, books with the artwork. Now, a lot of these old books, you'll see a black and white image. And I can tell you from having worked at the Delaware Art Museum, a lot of times they were actually painted that way. They were painted in oil paint as black and white, or done in charcoal or pencil in black and white, because they knew they were going to be reproduced in black and white. And the amount of skill that some of those artists had is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I like Arthur Conan Doyle, and so I know I don't want to lose that quilt back. There's still room in here, because this is a shallow box. When you're packing books, especially if you have old books, you want to make sure stuff doesn't shift, because you don't want it to further damage the spine, because the spine used to be silk threads, silk webbing, and it dry rots. But the other problem is that you have to leave room for the cardboard tabs of the box, the lid of the box, to fold over on top. So you always need to make sure you're leaving a little bit of space. Don't have much room left because that was a shallow box. Oh, history book. Oh no, this is a novel. Lightning in May. The story of one mining and village involved in the drama of a general strike. Probably British, considering it says 70p as the recommended price. Gordon Parker. So I think we shall. Let's just do with them. Here we go. There we go. There the box is leaving. Terry Pratchett, Henry James. I know those are not leaving. Oh, Lord, a romance book. Ew, ew, ew. I feel icky. Okay, so, wait till you see what they did for the chapters. Look at the kitty. Oh, yeah, David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck, which is awesome. This is, it says a trio of enchanted romances, but the name says Perfect Love. So is it about cats? Debbie McCumber, Linda Lael Miller, I know she was a romance writer, Patricia Simpson, cat tales featuring feisty heroines, dashing heroes, and frisky felines. Now, this is an uncorrected page proof. Well, that explains why I kept that one. It's cats. So I'm keeping that. I need to read that. Bernard Shaw's Devil's Disciple, John Galsworthy, I like him. King Solomon's Mines by H. Rider Haggard. This is a paperback version. He wrote something else that we should know the name of, and I can't remember what. Does it say? No. We're also going to find a bunch of these where there's no front cover. This is The Prince and the Lily, which is about Edward the Seventh and Lily Langtry. David Hume's Dialogue Concerning Natural Religion. We all found out the last time that I do tend to like my religious books. I think it's from 5 years of Southern Methodist Christian schooling. Grew up Presbyterian, had Catholic friends, used to go to Catholic Mass with them, and knew quite a few Jewish people. Had a neighbor 2 doors over that was English, and she was Episcopalian, because that's the closest thing to Anglican you can get over here. All the same rituals, half the guilt. And then there was Mr. Lee up at the corner, who was Japanese, and he was Shinto. And then the Kudravitz family and the staff across the street, they were all Orthodox. Now, she was Polish and he was Russian, so it's different kind of Orthodox. But so yeah, I grew up a religious mutt, so I've always been interested in it. Mrs. Miracle books. I've heard of the movie for that, Mrs. Miracle. That's not something I've read. Thomas Paine, Common Sense and Other Political Writings. My son was just asking about that. I told him I had at least one copy. Victorian England, Portrait of an Age. Now, what is the sunflower? That's, World War II, Jews and Nazis, but is it fiction or is it, well, it says literature. I'm not sure about what that is. Oh, I found a Chatterbox. I love Chatterbox. Okay, this one's in pretty good shape, though I see some watermarks on the cover. This is Chatterbox from 1899. Look at that lovely cover. Spine, not too bad, but Chatterboxes came out yearly. They'll have the year on them. It'll say Chatterbox across the top. There will always be a gorgeous cover of some kind of lithograph on the front of them. So they have so much stuff in them. Look at the inside. They're just stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. They often were, so, I mean, the copyright inside here, there's a whole list of copyright over here. The first one in here says copyright 1878. The last copyright says 1899, which tells you how many years this was going. And this first section of pages is falling out. I have had so much fun reading through these over the years. Now, the beginning will always have, after the index, there'll always be some great image. But it's always little poems, little stories. There's illustrations. There's also supposed to be a couple of colored plates. There's poetry. There's all kinds of little stories. Photographing a porcupine. All right, come on, we got to find what page is that one on. But I mean, look at the table of contents. This is just one page. Look how tiny that print is to try to read. But it always had so much stuff crammed into them. What page was the porcupine thing? Because that one's 406. We got to go find that one and see what it is. We got to find them. Now, I have used Chatterboxes to decorate with. There's more of these great black and white etching images. There's another one. Where is 406? I'm hoping that's a page number, but I don't know that this has that many pages. Oh yeah, just barely. Oh wait, what's this? This is page 9 and 10. Oh, look at that. Look at that. 408, 404, 405. Yeah, it's a whole article. I kid you not. It starts over here with that image, and it goes to the next page. But every time something starts, I'm trying to be super careful with it. It has a different little image, a little drawing to show you where something has started, and then there'll be these full page things. Now, it said there were a couple of other color plates. Oh, this page has a rip to the corner. Pieces are there. Chasing a gorilla lithograph. A lot of times people take the lithographs out and get your, see, somehow it's, looks like it's been cut, but the pieces are there. They'll pull the lithographs out of old books and then sell just the lithograph, which just breaks my heart. But because one, it usually makes it a problem for the book to stay together. So one of these images is by Stanley Berkeley, called After the Battle, but the color one doesn't have an artist signature. I'm guessing the black and white one is any one of 100, and that's got a rip to it, of Queen Victoria's Little Wars. There's actually a book called that. Now let's find page 10 and put this one back where it belongs. Wait, what? But there is a page 10. Well, what's that to? What is that to? Well, I'm just gonna put it back in there for safekeeping for right now. But look at the kitty. So it does have a lot of discoloring. No smell, but there's a lot, you can tell where it's got age and damp at some point got to it. And I've always had an affinity for books like that because nobody else, they look at that and they never want them. But I want books for their content. I don't care that the cover's falling apart. I want what's inside. I mean, do you care if you're, I don't care if you may not look the same as me or may not look perfect. I don't care. It's what's inside. I'm the same way about people as I am about the books. So I think Chatterbox is going to have to go. As much as I love them, and I don't believe I've read this one, but I think Chatterbox is going to need to be looked into and sold off. Because that's not one I would use for decorating. I might leaf through it, but I think I could just. It's not like I don't have enough books, right? Social Statics and Man versus State by Spencer. Okay, what year are we talking here? Social Statics, abridged and revised, together with The Man versus the State by Herbert Spencer. 1892. Oh, limited to 1,000 copies, of which this is number. There's no number there. So again, this is the kind of, you got to look it up, find out what it's about, what they're talking about. But especially when you see a book that says it was number so-and-so of. It's usually then a private printing or what they call a subscription printing, especially back in the day of the 1800s. People would pay a subscription fee to get like a pre-order to get your book. And if and only if they had enough subscriptions, would they then print the book. And even then, it would usually only be limited to, they might round up. Usually they round it up to the nearest 10. They would round up to that to be how many they print. And then that was it. So books like that usually were only ever printed once. And we'll find out if there is an interest. Tuck you in there ever so carefully. A Student's History of Education by Graves. Probably one of the books I picked up when I was studying to be a teacher. This is from 1922. Frank Pierpoint Graves was the author. And it's from July of 1915. But time to go. Trying to be careful how I set these old ones in there. Good Wives, Image and Reality in the Lives of Women in Northern New England, 1650 to 1750. Isn't that during the witch hunts at some point? Jonathan Winters, A Winter's Tale. Wow, a copy with the dust jacket. Around the World with Auntie Mame. Quite a few people know the Broadway show Mame, and then they did a movie of it as well. They changed whoever was Vera on Broadway, which I think was B. Arthur. They left B in the movie, but the one who was Mame originally, can't remember who the original Broadway one was. If that was Angela Lansbury or not. I know she did it at one point. But then for the movie, I think it's Lucille Ball. Or no, it was an older Hollywood. It was older Hollywood somebody that they used for the movie, and I've drawn a blank on her name. But people don't realize that that's based on books. And this is the second one. This is the second one, Around the World with Auntie Mame. Now, let's see. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. What are we doing for time here? Rosalind Russell. Wasn't that it? Rosalind Russell? Old Hollywood. Golden age of Hollywood person. Another Chief Shakespearean Dramas, edited by Joseph Quincy Adams. Copyright 1924. And honestly, really looks good. There's like hardly any wear to this thing at all. Usually there's a lot of wear at the tops, but I do need my allergy meds, but so, oh, hello, bonus. Let's find out what it is. Sit that there. I love when you find stuff in books. I actually have a folder for when I do genealogy merit badge, because I opened up a book and I found I found an envelope, and the envelope was the black bordered death announcement of the gentleman. Not only did it have that, it had in it the death announcement of his wife, and it had the obituary of him or the wife. I haven't pulled it out in a while to do genealogy, so I've forgotten. But it also had the wedding invitation. So when you do genealogy and teach it, you have to teach the importance of documents. So boom, right there, I had several documents. I had an obituary, I had a death notice, I had a wedding notice, right in one envelope. And so I've used that a lot. So this is a notice for all graduate students. Prompt registration at the beginning of each term in October and in February is necessary to obtain full credit. It doesn't say what school. This is old paper. I could see the watermark. Oh, here we go. We got a date. English 56, which I guess was the class number. Reading list 1925-26. The acting quality of the Old Testament plays. One of the authors is, oh, okay, so that's the chapter they have to read from this book. The second Shepherd's play from this book. And then there's another book listed that they need to read from that one. And then they're back to the Interludes of John Haywood in this book. There's another book that they need. So they needed 4 books. Papers are to be written out of class for the dates indicated. So it sounds like this was done like they do in Britain for, well, graduate students, they do it anyway. You don't spend all that time, and you hear lectures, but for the most part, it's a lot of independent study. That's cool. I'm going to tuck that right back in there with that because it actually references this book. But this then is going, definitely going. Tuck you in there. Box is getting full. You know with me, there's never just one sneeze. It's always a problem. This box is so big. What time is it? I didn't reset that clock. That clock's not reset. Yeah, isn't that cool? Schiller's Mary Stuart, a translation. Back is the same as the front. Oh, it's a play. Gunther Reinhardt. Well, that will be going. Oh, Ogden Nash, A Penny Saved is Impossible. Hans Behmen is another sci-fi fantasy. This will be interesting. What's this one? Let's put it in there. Carnival culture. You know, one of the benefits of being when I was at Westchester University is they used to have a massive book sale. This one's more recent. This is from 1992. The Trashing of Taste in America. I could see exactly why I bought that one. Oh, we've got some more old ones. The Crossing by Winston Churchill. Oh my. That's in bad shape. See, this is why I used to be able to get them so cheap at the book sales at the Westchester University. Used to have these massive book sales. It's because a lot of times they were falling apart. Though oddly enough, this one has my brother's name written into it. I wonder if this was one Uncle George gave him. 1904. Oh, wait, copyright, latest 1903, and then copyright Macmillan Company, which is the only American publisher in here, is 1904. So this is this is the American edition. But it's in rough shape. It is in definitely rough shape. Now I'll have to look it up and find out. Is it a novel? Did Winston Churchill write any novels? Hey, Leslie! That's my sister. Well, one of my sisters. They're not birth sisters. They're just They're adopted sisters. She's my adopted sister. Not legally, but she's my adopted sister. I still can't believe how old Nissa is, girl. I mean, I was there when you went into labor with that child. Oh, now here's something that somebody did to this book, and I bought it anyway. It's Peter the Great by Ian Gray. But I wouldn't have done this, but somebody did. They put packing tape over the spine. Ah. Oh, that's just painful. That's just painful. Presented to the Westtown School Library, class of 1904, but then it has withdrawn over here. I picked it up in 1991. Westtown School was a very expensive prep school. So that's another one gonna go. Put that down there. Oh, this box is so big. English folk tales, definitely sticking with me. Now, okay, this is probably a private printing. I could tell just from the way the cover looks. It's called Hold Everything. It's very thin and small. By Bob Sherwood, Last of Barnum's Clowns. Then it's got something in Latin, which I'm not about to mutilate. The end paper looks pretty cool. The end paper, I can't read the way the artist saying that. That is the title picture. That's cool. Copyright 1929 by Sherwoods. So, and look at the picture on the end paper page. The bottom says the absent-minded country-raised city dweller. So I would not be surprised if all these little pen and ink and the way the font is, if this was a private printing. It doesn't say it was, but the fact that it just says copyright 1929 by Sherwoods, and then it just says Sherwoods, New York City. It's not a big publishing house. There were smaller publishing houses that would do private little things like this. Now the edge is rough. You can see the webbing. You know, the spine is fragile. I am not going to put this into the box of leaving. I'm going to sit it over here with the Chatterbox one because of the fragility of that spine. I think it's time that found a new home, but let's find out what it actually needs. Oh, he wrote history books. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know. I still have stuff here from Aunt June, darling. I'm determined to get to it. It's still buried in the living room. But you know that. So awesome. I did not know what Winston Churchill wrote. The Decline and Fall of Practically Everybody. Anne Morrow Lindbergh's North to the Orient. Look at how nice that looks. What is that? I like the embossed image. That's cool. But it's missing part of the end paper. Bummer. The Sirius on Lotus Lake outside the wall of Nanking. Maps were by Charles Lindbergh. Copyright 1935, 11th printing, February 1936. So we're going to see. Now there's what the end paper should look like. It's a map that shows the plane route. We're going to see what that one's worth. At least I didn't write my name in it. Okay, send that one out. Oh, okay. I had not read this one yet. I read Roots a long, long time ago, and I know when I find it, I would like to read it again. But this is Queen, which is the saga of Alex Haley's father's side. And like an idiot, wrote my name in there. What is this from? This is from 1993, first edition. And it's in great shape. We want to keep you in great shape. Oh, there's an itty bitty book. What is this one? Handy Book Company from Reading, Pennsylvania. You know, I love tiny little books. The Death of Wallenstein. Well, looks like it's a play. Do we have a date? We don't have a date. Sometimes in the back there's ads and stuff that have dates that you can get an idea, and nope. Though the book only cost 50 cents originally, which that puts it pre-World War. That point probably puts it pre-World War I, definitely pre-World War II. Schiller's Death of Wallenstein. You looking that one up. I hear you. Go away. The Sleep of Reason. Now, we all know Nancy likes fantasy and sci-fi, and fantasy and reality from the Victorian age to the First World War. I'm gonna have to read that. Oh, and my Shogun. I fell in love with the miniseries of this when it was on in the 80s, and then now if you ever find the original printing of Shogun, it's 2 volumes. It's not one giant. It's 2 volumes. It was a very limited run. And then it became this great big thing. This is what I call nose busters, because if you fall asleep and reading in bed. Now this is the last digit is a 4, so this is a 4th printing from copyright 1975. But yeah, I had the paperback version, and I read it to pieces because I think I read it twice, and the paperback is like almost 4 inches thick, and or used to be, and it through the second reading it fell apart. I'm not big on most of James Clavell's stuff, but I really, really, really like that one. What's the title of the Churchill book again? Where did I put the Churchill book? It's behind me. Wait a minute. It's called The Crossing. And this one's in rough shape, but it is from the Macmillan Company, printed in 1904. And it is in really rough shape, but Hey there. Oh. Wow, I didn't know I had any of these. I must have picked this up at a yard sale because my sister got all of these ones that were from our mother. Diary of a Mad Playwright. It's Mary Martin and Carol Channing. You know I'm going to want to read that. Definitely going to want to. Got a lot of reading to do. Mike says I have to at least read, 6 books before the end of the year, if not the end of the month, or he's going to purge some books. And I'm like, I'll read. You can find moments. Like, we're down to 1 car now, so there are times where to get stuff done, I'm going to have to go out with him. And I got into the bad habit of taking the phone. and I should take the book. That's how you end up reading. Every time you're waiting on hold or sitting in a doctor's office, take a book. You get through a lot of books that way. Raggedy Ann and Andy and the Camel with the Wrinkled Knees. I think this one's definitely going to be going. Bob's Merrill Company, gorgeous colors. Look at the colors. Every page is lithographed, just about. Oh, a little tape issue there. 1960 is this printing. But my mom's books were from the 1920s because my mother was born in 1929. So this is, and they are, you have to watch the dates in these because they did keep reprinting these for quite a while. But the colors inside are just gorgeous. Oh, it's the only novel he wrote. Well, that's good to know. I'm writing that down. Only novel, not of, by Winston. And since mine's a first American edition, it might, even in that shape. Well, you know, still, you know, I mean, I know there's eBay sellers that won't do anything that's under $10. I'm not there yet. So, yeah, cool. So this one's going to go. There's somebody put a piece of Scotch tape, probably because this started to lift off. So there is a piece of tape on the end. Why don't we? I should save that for a live sale that's vintage kids books because we get some people that are a specific crowd when I do kids books. We also get a different crowd when I do cookbooks, and there will be some cookbooks in Thursday's sale. Only one of them was like really old vintage, like what did we find the date on that one? 30s, 40s? And then the others are more like 70s and 80s. Oh, one side of the box is empty. That's a plus. It's a plus. That's a plus. Ruin Creek Advanced Reading Copy, David Payne. Who is that? Oh, wait, these are two stuck together. That's how you know they're new. Leslie knows that sound. You got advanced reading copies too, dear. Leslie and I met when we worked at Walden Books together. We've been friends ever since. Ruin Creek by David Payne. Set in North Carolina in the 1950s, narrated alternately by 11-year-old Joey Madden and his mother May and his father Jimmy. Moving story of the Madden struggle to keep their dreams and hopes alive for a happy family life. Yada, 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 yada. It's going. Y'all can have this. Y'all can have that one. True Women. Another uncorrected galley proof. Presents a stable of women they breed in Texas. Strong, proud, vivid, unforgettable. I hate when they do that. They just put like all the review stuff on the back and they don't tell you diddly about the book itself. Okay, so it's a slice of history brought alive by an author. Historical fiction stretches from the Alamo to World War II in Texas. Okay. Bye-bye. And again, if you see a book you really want to have, or a piece of fabric that you know that I put in the pile that is to go, shoot me an email. My email is right there, and we can talk. And let's see. Oh, an Anne Edwards book. This is about Queen Mary in the House of Windsor, matriarch. We were talking about this book, a friend and I was like, I know I have it somewhere. Because, I mean, she really was like a Cinderella story. Yeah, it even says it on here. Because Princess May of Teck, we've all seen The Crown, okay? That was before you had Queen Elizabeth's Queen Mother, Elizabeth. You had Princess May of Teck. That's the older lady in the very beginning, the other queen that's at the table. That's her. And she was very impoverished nobility. There was no money, but she was chosen by Queen Victoria to be the bride to the eldest grandson of Queen Victoria. So, so that would have been the Duke of Clarence. That's who she was supposed to marry. The Duke of Clarence, though, died before the wedding, and then I think they put her on to the next son, if I remember right. She still became queen, mother of two kings, grandmother of the current queen, and lasting symbol of the majesty of the British throne. Her pivotal role in the abdication of her eldest son, the Duke of Windsor. Oh, it doesn't say on the back who she married, but she ended up, I believe, marrying the younger brother. So I like that one. I'm going to keep that one. This is Alexander Woollcott. Called Long, Long Ago, 1943. Oh, they're essays about famous people that he knew, including Calvin Coolidge. The history first-hand account history book. My kind of thing. Oh. We know I'm keeping this, and I know Leslie knows I'll be keeping this. The Book of Georgie. The Pilgrim's Regress by C.S. Lewis, but the artist. Look at that artwork. That's Michael Hague, Hague. There are people that collect his artwork and books that have his artwork in it. English fables and fairy tales. And this one got some dust on it. It's called Dear Lily. Is that Lily Langtry? No. So it's one of those where it's fiction based on history, like a family history. Supposedly another old-fashioned love story. Story begins in New Orleans on the eve of the Civil War. Probably got it because they end up after Reconstruction and coming back from England to return to the fashionable Philadelphia at the turn of the century, which is probably why I picked it up, because it would have, and it was published by Yankee Books. Yankee Books published the Farmer's Almanac. What were they doing publishing novels? But Dear Lily is going to go. Dear Lily down there. Unsolved Mysteries of Unnatural Events. Such as what? Book from the 80s? No, I picked it up in 92. Loch Ness Monster. Did William Shakespeare actually write his plays? Okay, these are sometimes good for a laugh, but hang on to that one first. That'll be a fast read. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love the genre books, the Terry Brooks. Mind you, I can remember when the Sword of Genre first came out, and now there's, I don't even know how many books on genre, but I absolutely love it. So that will be staying. I can't wait to have a place where I can have my books on my shelf so I can figure out what genre books I've got. A Vision of Light. And this one is I think she's a Cathar. Oh, that would be why I picked that up, because I've always been interested in the Cathars. So, guess what, guys? The box be empty. Yay! Now, as this box is a monster and way too big for me to ever be able to move, and it's splitting, and the tape is the bottom. This is the one I think Mike said the bottom was falling out because the tape had given. Hey, this will tell you how old this box is. It says Cats, Cats, and More Cats, which used to be a fantastic catalog in the 80s and 90s. That was all, that's all they did was stuff that was cats. And I don't believe they still exist now. All right, so I have to find another box for these, which isn't going to fill a box, but because I filled that one. One's I'm going to keep, and I know it might be hard to hear if I turn around. I'm sorry about that. But we have more than a full box of what's leaving. We've got 2 boxes worth of fabric pulled out. That's awesome. We've got more stuff that I'm going to add to Thursday night sale. Again, bonus. And it looks like I've got more books to do. And you won't get to see all of that because, I mean, we're basically we're getting through 3 to 4 books at a time. We've got until 4 o'clock, so we've got a little more time. And we can see, because this one's an open box, and we can take a peek at what's in here and keep going for a little bit. But I want to be done by 5. Also, because Mike can't get a shower while I'm set up in here because the leak for the shower is directly above. And so I need to make sure the ring light and the phone are nowhere near the water. So by now, he's probably fallen asleep. But he said he was setting his alarm for 5:30 and another alarm for 6. So by then, dinner will be ready in the crock pot. Turkey, we got a turkey breast, potatoes, carrots, some thyme, some parsley, because I know he's celery. So simple food. Made sure I threw all that in the crock pot tonight. The Poldark Saga. You know, I can remember seeing that image. That's from the PBS miniseries. That's the picture from that cover. That can go. There's room left down here, a little bit. Oh, there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. Same thing. The image is from the PBS TV series, which was probably a British series because they're always doing that. Hi, Happy Days. Well, Happy Days, you can either sell them. I donate quite a few of mine. There are a lot of libraries in my area, and they all take donations for book sales. And brain cramp, probably because I haven't had enough water. Brain cramp. Oh, Leslie, the first problem is we got to figure out how to get to that pipe, because back in the 30s, they basically laid a concrete floor with the pipe in it. Now, I think when we get this room emptied, you can get to it possibly from underneath, but we'll see. We'll see. There's so much wrong with this. I'm more worried, quite frankly, about the roof leaking, because that leak has gotten so bad it comes all the way to the first floor. We have a big outdoor trash can with a tarp set up to catch all the water. It's gotten massively worse this year than it's ever been. So I keep trying to look for grants and things. Really? Wow. Well, then maybe I'll see about putting those two Poldarks online, unless somebody here is real interested in Poldark. It's funny, like the stuff you pick out when you're, I mean, I was born in 65, so in the 90s. So when you're in your 20s, and my dad passed away, I was only 30. I was 41 when mom passed away. But, you know, the stuff you pick out in your 20s isn't necessarily the same stuff you're going to read in your 50s. So, all right, let's see what else we got. Disney paperbacks to the old movies. Those are sometimes worth it, and especially if you find the old Whitman hardbacks. Some of them have quite the following. The ones that aren't animated, not quite so much, but there are some. That Darn Cat. Now this does have some issues with the back. It seems like there's another reason why you don't want to have your books packed for too long, because sometimes the paperbacks stick to each other, and this one just stuck to another Poldark. So I'm glad we're looking through this other box, and we put that other Poldark with it. Disney one. I'm going to sit that with Raggedy Ann and Andy, so I look it up. The Image of Man, a study of the idea of human dignity in classical antiquity, the Middle Ages, and the Renaissance. Because I do like philosophy. Okay, I can see why I kept that one. Warleggin, The Last Gamble by Winston formerly The Last Gamble. Another great Poldark saga. We'll stick that with the other one then. If I keep going, I'm going to have a whole nice little batch of Poldark. Fire in the Ashes, Europe in mid-century. Absolutely want to read this one, because this is from 1953 and was written, Theodore H. White, I know, worked for several press correspondents in Europe during the war and at the end of the war. So that's another one. It's like that first-hand account of history. Oh, come here, you. Now, I know these aren't going anywhere. Boy Scout books. Yay. I do not have many of these. If I remember correctly, I only have 3. We found one. I didn't know where the other 2 were. Just found the other 2. These are absolutely going up to the shelf in Mike's room, where he has been putting all of the Boy Scout books we find so we can figure out what we have. Jokingly, he says we, but I'm like, I'm not dead yet, so you can't have them. I'm not dead yet. I sound like a Monty Python skit. But these were written by Lieutenant Howard Payson. And there's a whole series of them. And I only have 3 of them. And I've been hunting for where are these 2. So now I can put these with the other one. Get all our scouts. That's another thing, is as we've been finding the Boy Scout stuff, it's all going together where we get it all tucked away. A kid's book about sibling bears staying at the grandparents', blueberries and a moose. Yeah, Happy Days. When I go through my books, I mean, I'm to the point now where the majority of the books I own are not books I've read. I have not read them. Because, you know, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you think you have all the time in the world to read. And then when you're 30 and your dad dies, and by the time you turn 31 and 6 months go by, you're suddenly mom to a toddler. And so there went all the time for reading. And I started reading kids' books a lot more. So Poldark books start at 4 and go up. Oh, yeah. What do I do with Boy Scouts? I am an assistant scoutmaster with a troop. We had been over 60 kids at one point. I was made, even though it's not officially in the BSA, Boy Scouts of America, a title. I am Assistant Scoutmaster in charge of advancement. When you have that many boys, the lead Scoutmaster cannot handle everything. And so we had it divvied up, and I was given the task of following their advancement. Now, it's a joke in the troop that I don't learn their names the first 2 years they're there, because those lower ranks, they don't deal with me. They deal with me once they get to first class and are working towards star, because after that, those lower ranks of scout, tenderfoot, second class, first class, those are all skills. They are all skills for safety, for camping, first aid, cooking, basic skills you need to do everything you want to do later. And so I don't deal with that part. But once they get to where they have to deal with merit badges, everything star, first class, star, life, eagle, all of that has time constraints. It's all tied to merit badges. They all have to come through me to get that handled. So that's what I do. I grew up in a Boy Scout family. I was officially a Boy Scout in my late teens, because Explorer Scouts is a co-ed branch to the Boy Scouts. Explorer Scouts still exist, but now they are more like a STEM program. They are entirely career oriented, and then they have venture crews, which are more high adventure things. Explorer posts, when I was a teen in the early 80s, they could be a mix of both. So while we had a couple of kids interested in nursing who would go off to Philadelphia or different colleges for seminars, the rest of us would go camping. And then when I aged out, I was horrified to find out, what do you mean I can't volunteer and become a Scoutmaster? Because in the 80s, they didn't let women become Scoutmasters in my council. But then in the early 90s, my council, Valley Forge Council, merged with Philadelphia Council and became Cradle of Liberty Council, and they changed it. But by then I was doing a lot more community theater and went on to other things. But then I got Michael, and we tried doing Cubs. Cubs in this area kept falling apart. They didn't last, because you need a lot of parental involvement for a Cub pack. I am not the person to be in charge of a Cub pack, because I'll want to duct tape the little monsters to a tree and walk away. There's a reason I was going for secondary education, because I don't do well with kids after the age of 6 to about 13. Get them away from me. So yeah. But I do great with teenagers, So when Mike got old enough to go into Boy Scouts, he saw the pictures hanging on the wall. He heard all the stories of my brothers and me all being in Scouts. So when he was old enough to join, he actually joined at 10 and a half. And I told him, give it 1 year and 1 summer camp. And then if you still don't like it, you can leave. I'm not leaving again, because it's an excuse to go camping and it's an excuse to go traveling. It's just awesome. It is a volunteer position. And now with the spine, the only camping I get to do is summer camp now, which just kills me, because everything's in a tent and I still can't kneel on the ground and crawl to be able to get in and out of a tent, or up and down off of the ground pad, which just kills me that I can't camp anymore. Because of a heart condition, I can't regulate my temperature that well, so I couldn't camp in the winter anyway. But still, I mean, that's basically 4 camping trips plus summer camp a year now, and I can only do summer camp, which sucks, but I absolutely love it. You sent me a link for the books. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I grew up, I was 3 weeks old the first time I was on Boy Scout property, because somebody forgot a sleeping bag. And my dad was Scoutmaster, and my mom had the keys to the church where all the gear was, and went and picked up an extra sleeping bag and drove it up to, which is outside of Quakertown. It's now called Musser Scout Reservation, but Delmont Scout Reservation is part of that now, and drove up to Delmont. I was 3 weeks old. So I've been involved in scouting my entire life. Whenever they had to go run something up because somebody forgot something, either up at Resica Falls or Delmont for summer camp, Mom would take me along. I can remember they would put a scout hat on me, put my hair up in my hat, and take me to merit badge classes. So I was troop mascot for a lot of my young years. So yeah, I've had a love of scouting for a long time. And so I'm so thrilled to be back. And I collect some scout stuff, partly because I teach the Scouting Heritage Merit Badge, which teaches partly the history of scouting. But one of the things you have to do for it is to show a scout collection of items over time, over history of scouting. And the kids can't often do that. And so I have stuff that I inherited, and then I pick up stuff over the years. And so I use that for when I do the Scouting Heritage Merit Badge. So somebody just popped up. I saw it on the computer. They popped up on a computer first. I can't. Hi, Nancy and Big Hearts. New England Thrifter. Hi, hon. So I hope you've all given me a thumbs up. Thank you. And for those who didn't hear the very beginning, when I said about new things to the channel, I have memberships now. I have Night Owls, which gets you the emojis. And I have Fairy Realm, which I really was hoping was going to give me a whole new set of emojis because I saved some fairy pictures. But it didn't. So Fairy Realm right now is set that you will get personal. Okay, a bird just slammed itself into the screen in the window. Hope the hawk's not chasing it. But you'll get private access videos of me going through stuff. Probably some stuff that is like when I did the jewelry. There's other tiny stuff that you haven't seen because it's hard to film it. You can't do it as a live because you can't get the good camera. So there'd be stuff like that. And I have to talk to a couple other YouTubers that do it because I'm not quite sure how to set it up. But like Trisha does 24 hours advance notice for members for her drop sales. And I'd like to know how to set that up because we all know Nancy is technology challenged. The fact that I have memberships now, this is what I spent most of yesterday doing instead of packing stuff. It took me a while. And I've been working on it off and on for a couple of days just to find out how do you get emojis and how do you, because you have to find your own pictures. And yeah, technology challenge Nancy, but I did it. So now we have super chat, super thanks, super stickers, buy me a tea, and memberships, and all of the funds from those things go to keeping the 3 rescue cats. Because Mike pays for the food for Gimli and Elrond, and litter for them. He's figured out what the percentage would be, so he pays for that. But to feed the other 3 and litter, the money from those things goes to them first, and every month, whatever excess there is goes into an account just for the roof. Because no matter what grant I've looked at, I haven't found one yet I can get, they all want you to pay a certain percentage. And this is a roof from 1911 and 1935 with lots of peaks and lots of gables and lots of gutters and a porch roof. The tree broke. There's a video about that. It broke my house, and the neighbor's insurance, we both fought with them forever and they just refused. So so that's never been fixed, and that's going to need carpentry work. So honestly, one estimate that Michael tried to get where they take a picture down from Google Earth, but there's too many trees in the way. Their low estimate was $20,000 for a roof. And it's not like I could get any kind of a bank loan because with the spine, I don't actually have an official job other than this. So the budget is super tight. So all that stuff has been set up to primarily just go to those things because those are the emergency hot plate things in the moment. And it's all earmarked for that. So that's my challenge, is to have that. And I've got to crank out eBay, Etsy, continue working on the channel, continue getting subscribers. YouTube, yes, once you hit 1,000, you're monetized, but you don't get a payout until that amount of money you get from ad revenue hits $100. So I've had my 1,000 for over a year, and I have yet to get paid from YouTube. So don't expect YouTube to be your money maker, because unless you're a massive channel with thousands, and I mean thousands of subscribers, you're not seeing a big payout from YouTube. Your money's going to be made on what you're promoting otherwise. Whether it's your eBay channel, your eBay store, your Etsy store, your live sales, your super chats, your memberships, your stickers, your product. This is why some of the bigger channels have product, because that's where your income is coming in from, because it's not, you look at YouTube as, oh, it's a nice little bonus when it shows up. Mine hasn't shown up yet, but my channel's still growing. In the last 28 days, because you know, you lose and pick up, and in the last 28 days I picked up 15 new subscribers, and I'm thrilled. Welcome and hello. So it's you had to watch a Dr. Oh wait, you had to watch a Dr. Oz video to see me? Oh, I missed the setting then. Sorry about that. When I do a live, I usually turn off the monetization, and so that during a live you don't have to see the ads, and then I go back in and turn it on again for when you're watching the replay. And if you saw an ad, it's because I was in such a rush, I forgot to do that, and I do apologize, because for the lives I usually have that turned off. But I thank you for watching it. So I've got like 3 minutes left. Let's take a quick look, see if there's any more Boy Scout books. Oh, there's kids' books. That Printer of Udell's by Harold Bell Wright. Another one with a lithograph insert on the cover. Or not insert, that's not the right word. But they would paste an image on the front cover. Trying to think what year that would have been. I think that's like the Edwardian stuff, when they would do that to the front covers, like early 1900s. Right, so this one has the original copyright is 1902 and 1903 to the author. And then there is a copyright to a different name, which might be a child of the author. And this says new edition published March 1911. So a lot of the, you know, Downton Abbey period, early 1900s, had books where they would put this great lithograph thing on the front. So we know that one's going to go. We have Galopoff, the Talking Pony. Look at that great silhouette cover. That's pretty cool. You know, for that's like a reddish orange and black. That'd be good for Halloween decoration. I don't know why there's some gold foil stickers in there. Do we have a picture inside? Illustrated by Howard R. Court. So that's something. Never underestimate the book's value because you don't find the author. If they name the illustrator or the illustrator from the image, always look up the illustrator. There are places and people who will collect it based on the artist. But yep, that's 2 more. Gonna end up at the live sale. I don't want to stick it there. Stick it back there. I hear Mike's alarm. Number primer. You know, it's been a long time since I've sold primers. Oh my. Got my sister's name in it. At number 57. She used to do that too. Numbered her books as a kid. I like the pictures. But it goes all the way up to edition and carrying over. So the book itself is from 1909. How she ended up with it as a kid, I don't know. But sending that one on its way. Oh, another one where spine fell apart. Really? Printers of Udell's. Okay. I see now. Look. There are so many books like this that I used to rescue. This is Peg Woffington by Charles Reed. 1907. Peg Woffington from a something I can't read by Houston After Pickering. So apparently it's a biography. My copy's worth about 75. Wow. Thanks, Leslie. Where did I put that sucker? Maybe I'll put that over here with that Disney one. Okay, Reed, we're going to hang on to. Reed is in bad shape. So we got Those Were the Days by Edward Hewitt. Tales of a Long Life. Okay, so it's not an autobiography because he doesn't regard his own life as being worthy of an autobiography. But they are, he originally wrote books on the art of salmon fishing and trout fishing. But these basically are family stories that he has finally written down for his 4 children and 11 grandchildren. That sounds like I should take a look at that because I'm the only one left that really listened to all the family stories. And there are so many that got lost because we used to tell Mom, write them down, and she didn't. And so they're gone, you know, and my eldest brother is gone now, and he and Phyllis were the only 2 that really remembered, even vaguely, our great-grandparents, and might have stories of one of them that lived into the 50s. So, you know, that might be a good, inspiring one to check out. What are these 2 old ones? Complete History of World War, Volume 1. Which World War? There's the first question. No, that better not have been. There was cobwebby stuff. That's the bane of a book lover. Who is that? The victorious generals of the Allied forces: General Pershing, Haig, Diaz, Marshall, Allenby. I'm guessing First World War. Look at the uniforms. That's another one that's have to look that sucker up. For a second there, I thought this was going to be a Louisa May Alcott because I have a bunch that are done like this where they have the gold top and bottom. And this is the works of E.P. Rowe. Has an inscription from Christmas 1888 called Miss Lou by Edward P. Rowe. In loving dedication to little Miss Lou, my youngest daughter. Huh. Well, to find out, maybe that's girl, you know, early girls fiction, children's fiction like the Little Women books were. So there's another one I should look that sucker up. And I'm not letting loose of this till I read it, and then I'm going to sell it because it's an Isaac Asimov, but it's a mystery book. Murder at the ABA. Isaac Asimov wrote so many books. It says it's a first edition from 1976. I remember getting this one from my brother. It had been a library book, and you can see the damage in there. So, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, see, I mean, each generation, I can remember stuff that they were all adults in the Great Depression. My mom was a child in the Great Depression, and I can remember hearing the stories of how they got through it and the things they did. And then also with the pandemic, I got to read excerpts from my great aunt's journal, Annie Al was born in 1900. So in the 1916 to 1918 to 1912, that Spanish flu kept showing up until in the 20s. She let me read all that and explained all the stuff that went on. So, that kind of firsthand history from someone is all getting lost. And sadly, kids don't know their grandparents, their great aunts and uncles, or heaven forbid, their great grandparents, because we're all scattered so much and we don't keep in contact as much. So it's good to have it written down. So Asimov will be saying we have. Oh, okay. This is The Wine and the Music. The author is William E. Barrett, who wrote Lilies of the Field, which was made into a fabulous movie with Sidney Poitier in it. If that's the right movie, I believe. So, a novel about a priest. I think that could go, but I will have to look that one up. It does say it's a book club edition, though, which sometimes lessens the value. Other times that was the only way it got printed. It doesn't say first edition, but it does say the copyright 1968. Bonus, it's got an excellent dust jacket on it. Even if a dust jacket has major issues, keep the dust jackets with the books. Older the book, the more important that is. We're just going to power through because there's about 10 books left. The Committee, The Extraordinary Career of the House Committee on Un-American Activities. Let's see if Mike wants to read that one. Starlit Corridor, Modern Science Fiction Short Stories and Poems compiled by Roger Mansfield. Early collections of short stories, especially if they are science fiction things. Always look them up because often they have stuff like this one has a short story by Kingsley. It's got another one by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. John Wyndham is in here. Constantine Fitzgibbon, Arthur C. Clarke is in here. The reason you want to look them up is because early on, science fiction wasn't taken seriously as a genre. Neither really was fantasy, but seriously, science fiction wasn't. And so a lot of the early works of some of these famous authors were in collections like this, or in pulp fiction magazines that were sci-fi related. So those can be worth a ton of money because for some, it's the only place that short story was ever printed. So never underestimate these earlier science fiction collections of short stories. I'm gonna put you over there. We got Heavenly Discourse, yet another autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Having read two others, I kind of think I can send that one on its merry way. Sinclair Lewis Babette. I love Daphne Demurier. Castle Door. I don't know that one. I'll read that one. I need to start collecting these. I have the bunch of them. This is Mash Goes to Morocco. And I know there's a bunch of them. There's at least 3 that are bouncing around this house. I should put that in a safe place so that I can find it, sell them all as a lot. And you read an interesting book. Which one? I just blew through 3 or 4. And A Pocket Guide to Unitarianism. Ooh, what are you? What the heck? A Quick Guide to London. I mean, this is like tissue paper in here. Is this from when I went? No, this is from 1970. Well, this says 73. I went in 88. I had a chance to go over and sing. And so, yeah, I think that one can go. Don't need that one. 2 books left, and then we got to go. A book about the English Bible. Okay, I'm definitely reading this. because when the Puritans came over here, they came over here because of religious persecution back home. Did you know that the King James Version of the Bible that was sold here by law could not include certain books of the British King James Bible? I don't know if that's still continuing or how long it lasted, but I know for at least the first 100 years that was law. And so I would be very interested to read a book about the English Bible by Josiah Penniman from 1920. Oh, bonus, professor at University of Pennsylvania, local book. And what's left? Last one. Wow, look at this cover. Life and Public Services of William E. Gladstone, I believe was a prime minister. Look at that cover. All of this is all embossed. The whole thing is embossed. The gold is still pretty good. The blue is good. The spine has some fading, but the spine's pretty good. It's not busted inside. Gorgeous end papers. Wine and the music. Okay. Oh, wow. It has a presentation page. Look at that. That means this book was expensive at its time. Presented to and by, and then it says 18 for the year. So, I mean, I knew just by looking at it, it was 1800s. Entered according to Act of Congress in the year 1898. Life and Public Services of the Honorable William E. Gladstone, containing a full account of the most celebrated orator and statesman of the modern times. Comprising of, you see how long that title is? I'm so glad they don't do that anymore. So he was graphic story of his life, brilliant genius, traits of character, grand achievements as a leader and a prime minister, his magnificent triumphs in great political struggles, etc. A noble example to all aspiring young men. It also includes his famous speeches and orations, striking incidents of his career, personal anecdotes, and reminiscences. Wow. Embellished with a large number of superb phototype and wood engravings. And this is in great shape. Now, there's one of the engravings of Lord Aberdeen. But, yeah. I mean, I was very interested in British history for a while, but I also know that if I had come across this at the book sale, I would have snagged it immediately to just save it. Because usually at Westchester University, when I went to the big university book sale, I would go on the last day where you could just give them a small amount of money and where all the books would be half price, and I would snag stuff like this just to save it. At the time, yeah, I did want to read it, but I know I'm not going to read that. But what a cover. What a cover. That's just stunning. That is absolutely stunning. But it's also absolutely going. So look at that. That's another box done. That's another box. So guesses as to what's underneath. Books or fabric. Oh my, and it's actually taped shut, so I don't know. I can't tell from the weight because fabric's heavy too. Let's see here. I see something that says copyright 1988, so it's probably more books. Oh my. So, that's one thing too with allergies. Old paper does put out a lot of dust of its own, paper dust. So, but this box we know is shot and falling apart and too big for me to maneuver. So I'm gonna go, and it's after 4, so it's been our 2 hours now, and I hope you had fun. We found a ton of books to get rid of and some fabric, and I will have to start sorting all that out and see where I'm going to stash that temporarily. I'll find a spot. There is still wiggle room around here, so. Oh, the kids are home. Give both kids a hug for me. I know with my car having been on its last legs for a couple of years, I've missed coming out all the way out to see you. And then my health has been crap for the last 6 years, off and on, different things going wrong. So books do take up a lot of room, Tia Fane, but so does all this fabric of my mother's. And my rule of thumb with books now is that if it's a newer book that I absolutely want to read, I get it from the library. And books that I have read, I'm very judicious about what I keep now. Most of them leave, if not to be sold, then donated. So they will be going out the door. So have a good night, and I will see many of you, I hope, Thursday night at 11 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time. It will be a live sale this week. We know there's going to be some cookbooks. We know there's going to be a little bit of Christmas coming in because I'd like to get that stuff out of in here. There'll be a few books. There'll definitely be a few books. I know there'll be I found these. Now they look a little hint of lavender, like they've been kissed by the sun. But it's the same pattern, but one has a lid and one doesn't. So these will be in Thursday's sale. And I don't have a clue what family house these came from, if they came from a family house. But they're up there with the Christmas stuff. They're going to be in the sale. And we'll see what I have, because every week is different. Every week is a mix. I have not been, the cats have eaten up all extra funds and keeping the bills going. So I have not gone shopping for glass for you guys, which is why lately you've not seen any glass in the sales, because that's the one thing I didn't inherit. But you know what? My sales are fun that way because it's always different. It's always a treasure hunt. And I'll see you Thursday. So have a good night. And in the description should be links for the Buy Me a Tea, the eBay store, the Etsy store. The eBay store is, while it's not super filled, it is all completely 25% off for until next Monday. And there's the link for the Buy Me a Tea and the Amazon wish list for the kittens. I actually am running out of toys for these little monsters because they've destroyed all of them. So they've now ripped, one favorite toy was this fabric thing with a little jingly thing in the end. They've actually now pulled it off its stick and then chewed on the end that the stick goes into, so I can't glue it back together. Apparently they did that while I was asleep last night. Little night furies is what they are. So, and as for the two that we saw outside, I have not seen them since that day. I went out to try to make sure they knew they could come here for food, and I've got put a call in for the trapper again, hoping we can get the trapper to come get those two, but I haven't seen those two again. The doctor went after the calico one, so they're probably terrified to come back. And I haven't heard from the trapper yet about coming and getting Rory and Shadow to, for heaven's sakes, at least get them fixed. You know, because hopefully they'll get, what is this? Oh, Elric won. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. He won a scholarship. That is so cool. That would be good to know. Hello, Tippy Winks Vintage. She's another fun channel and has the cutest little dog. He's adorable. I did a lot today. You guys are helping keeping me going, because this is just one carload from Philly Flippers warehouse. The pile at Philly Flippers, we measured it. I measured it because I wanted to know how much space I needed. It would, if this room was totally empty, it would fill this room completely, because it all came out of the Black Hole Challenge room, and it's now all got to come back and get dealt with. So it's going to be all kinds of stuff: fabric, craft supplies, books. So I know there's at least one entire case, one big box that is unopened Lord of the Rings toys that were duplicates of what Michael already had, or ones I just bought while they were on sale, intending to give them to him later, and then just for whatever reason didn't. So we're gonna keep going. No, there will be just a book sale and just a fabric sale coming up soon. Whether I'm going to do it as a live or a drop, I don't know yet. Sliding in onto a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday evening is a possibility. We'll see. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because we all know Nancy's still behind in shipping, and I've been saying that for a year now because I kept having health issues. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself until I get everything situated. The biggest problem is, as you see, is space. Even packing. Some of the packing stuff is up there in the corner, because I would stand here and try to pack stuff out here, leaning on top of something on a card table in the corner, which is too low for my spine to bend. And I'd do an hour of that, and then I'd have to go lay down for an hour because my back would be spasming. So it's made it a tough challenge, but I've had my spinal shots. I now have more awareness of what I physically cannot twist, how I cannot move. So we're going to take that information and keep moving forward. So on that happy good note, thank you all for coming. If you're watching this on the replay, my email is right there. If you saw a book that I said was going, or some piece of fabric that I said was going in the last work with me or this one, and you just have to know if you can have it, if you can purchase it, shoot me an email and we can work something out. So I will see you guys Thursday night at my live sale. Have a great night. Bye.